Please read the disclaimer. Hello, beautiful people. Shalom, money makers. So Ripple Swell is over. We got some very interesting videos and statements and news that came out from Ripple Swell. We'll talk a little bit about what's happened with the court case. Yes, tariffs, no tariffs. What are the probabilities coming out from there? And Charles Schwab is entering the arena as well. And a new crypto on the channel that has been on an amazing run. Will it continue or fizzle out? All I ask from you is that you give me a beautiful smile to send out those good vibes. Smishity smash that like button and let's get into it. So currently XRP is sitting at $2.32 up, down minus 0.6% on the day. It did rise all the way up to 241, but we have seen a little bit of a pullback since then. It was just not just XRP here, right? We had this pop up. XRP moved over a short period of time. We saw XRP go up about almost 4% in 22 minutes. But since then, the crypto market has been pulling back a little bit. You can see Ethereum, Bitcoin, everybody pulling back here. What is interesting, right, is that the sell-off, the panic has stopped, right? So after basically since Monday, right? It started on Monday morning, Sunday night, which we saw the peak of this movement. We saw the market start to sell off and the fear start to creep in, right? Monday morning was the peak here. Bitcoin was at 116,000, dropped all the way under 100,000 and has come back off of that. The extreme fear, right? The peak fear for now, right, has ended. So we went from 21 all the way up to 27. The question now is, where do we go from here? It's a year anniversary of November 6th, right, last year, where the crypto market started going bananas after the election was, won, and crypto came back in a big way, and all the changes and all the positivity that has been around crypto since then has been game changing, right? You can't deny that. The prices. The price of XRP was at 50 cents before, November 5th last year, right? So a year ago, right? Just to put things into perspective, right? Because sometimes we forget, right? Where are we, right? November 5th, right? So we were at 50 cents. November 6th, we jumped up to 53 cents, right? Only we would jump up to 54 cents. Only the real run, right? Actually, it took a little bit of time, right? XRP November 10th, only towards November 12th, November 13th, November 15th, right, is when XRP really started moving. November 16th, right? So it took time, right? The crypto market in general popped up on that day, but XRP took a little bit of time, right? So you can see Bitcoin jumped from 69,000 all the way up to 77,000 on that day. But XRP, it took a little bit of while for XRP to start moving, right? I think people were still like, okay, what does this mean? Like, is this going to be, good for us, not good for us, the change? And so it took a little bit of while for that to happen. And sometimes we forget, right? Sometimes, we forget where we were a year ago. Sometimes we forget the past, and it's important to remember that, okay? So the crypto market is an interesting place. I don't know what's going to happen day to day, of course. What we talk about in this video, in the videos in general, is only my opinion, what I am seeing, what I am doing. Of course, not financial advice. Always do your own due diligence before you decide to invest. Very, very important. And we'll see how the market plays out. On the one hand, and we'll get to it in just a second, you know what, let's get to it now. The market's moved, right, on that the probability of the tariffs actually getting canceled because of the theory that if they remove the tariffs, then that will mean less inflation pressure and higher probability for the Fed to start cutting rates. But on the flip side, they will have to return about give or take between half a trillion to $1 trillion there. And that's not good. Right? So it's like worse and worser kind of situation, right? I don't know what's best. I'm not from the future. I don't know what would be the best outcome. But we still have to remember the government's shut down. A lot of money is still sitting on the sidelines for crypto. A lot of money is shifted into the stock market. Listen, stock market is doing amazing right now, right? It's close to all-time highs. Many tech stocks have gone an amazing run. Many AI related stocks have gone an amazing run. And if you see it, like if you're on YouTube, stock channels and channels that talk about AI stocks are going through the roof with views, right? Because people are interested and people go where the money is, right? And if the money is in this sector, that's usually where the interest goes. A few of you have written in the comment section, funny, I didn't. Your disclaimer is new, right? It's been like 2 weeks. So a lot of people have checked out, and October 10th was a big, shock for a lot of people, and they're still sitting on the sidelines. So if retail is sitting on the sidelines and big money is shifting to other places, then how can we anticipate the markets to recover, right? And that's why I think the crypto market has taken a little bit of a pullback over the past few weeks. But we know that it can flip very, very fast, right? We still have this situation, for XRP, and yet XRP is basically at the same levels that it was back in July. Now, of course, we don't want that, right? We'd rather be up here than down here. But again, if you're long-term investing, then it's just numbers on the portfolio, right? Of course, we want the numbers to be larger, but if you're not, exiting positions, it is what it is. That's just my feeling on these kinds of things. If you are short-term, trading and going in and out of positions, then yes, of course it matters. But if you're long-term investing, then you're long-term investing. That's what it means. And I try not to stress about that. That's something that I've been working very, very hard on. When I look at my positions and say, okay, this is the situation with this is the situation with that, and I'm long-terming these things. I look back a year and I remember us, depressed in August of 24 when the appeal, the SEC decided to put back the appeal and XRP dropped. I think it was like the 40 cents or something like that. All the way down to 40 cents. It was in July, not in August. And we were here, right? Yeah, it was August. I remember because I was at the beach with the kids, right? And it just dropped off here over like a 4 or 5, period from 65 all the way down to 43. It was a real depression time there, right? 36% in 5 days. And then a few months later, we got that, massive, movement. So things change, things can shift. Of course, if the election was a one thing, but things can shift, things can change, and I'm still very, very, with my outlook for the long term. Again, I always keep the monkey on my shoulder because I know that anything can happen, and we've seen March of 2020, and we've seen things happen in the world. So we have to always be careful. But again, I'm still looking with the same outlook. And you say, you have statements like crypto czar David Sachs saying there were great progress on crypto market structure legislation. All these things, of course, are very important for the crypto market and brings more confidence. Like the announcements that came from Ripple last night, the partnership with MasterCard, right? The investment by Citadel and that $500 million investment with a valuation of $40 billion for Ripple, right? Those are things that wouldn't have happened last year. The lineup at Ripple Swell wouldn't have happened last year. Brad had we'll get to that in just a second. Had this closing remarks, and I'm not gonna play it because I don't know yet what gives vacations here on YouTube yet. So I don't know. But you can find it. It's all over X. I'll link to this in description. But um, he's basically saying like they wouldn't even let them in the door. And now the biggest, financial institutions like Citadel and others are coming and investing in Ripple and coming and inviting them to the party and coming to their party, right? Not inviting them to the party, but coming to their party, right? They're making the party now. And so this is, totally different situation than where we were before. And so it's going to be very interesting to see, what happens. And, we have Charles Schwab coming out and saying that they are going to launch crypto trading. 7 trillion giant Charles Schwab plans to launch crypto trading in the first half of 2026, the CEO says. So again, the biggest and the baddest, I don't know if they're baddest, but the biggest, right? I don't know why I said that. But they're coming into the crypto market, right? And all of them are going to be here because they see the opportunity, they see the potential, they see the president saying what the president is saying, and they still feel like it's an untapped market, right? When if you say, oh, well, the internet in the beginning, right? The internet was invented in the 80s, right? But it took time, right? Maybe I don't know, like closer to the 2000s where it really started to pick up. It was before, but as a kid, I don't remember. I had a computer, but we didn't use the internet. Like most of us, I don't know if a lot of you remember this, but there was a Norton Commander, NC, right? I think that's what it was called, something Commander, Norton Commander, where it was like DOS, and you had to, enter the commands and C slash, right, the game you wanted to play or whatever. And then Windows came in, and then the internet came in. But even then, we didn't use it. It was pretty slow, and only like towards the thinking 2000s, the early 2000s, right, it really started coming in. So, and then of course it went bananas. But same thing here with crypto. I think we're still we're still in the beginning, and it's gonna take time. I call it the grandma and grandpa test, right? When we see the older generation start embracing crypto. It's kind of funny because my parents are also grandma and grandpas, but they're not like really old. You know what I mean? I'm talking about like 80 plus, okay, that are actually using crypto and integrating with crypto. Maybe I have some viewers here that are 80 plus, although I don't think according to the distribution that I do have, but if I do, hello to you. And it's great. Let me know in the comment section if you are over the age of 80. Who got you into crypto? Was it your kids, your grandkids, someone in your family? Let me know in the description down below. That's very, very interesting. And so we'll see how the market reacts today, right, to everything that is going on. We, of course, we had XRP going up, and had that pop, but it's still in low-ish levels, okay? And it's still not, recovered to levels that it was prior to the 10-10 sell-off, right? So I'm still optimistic about the crypto market in the long term. Medium term, again, a lot can happen, a lot can change. We were thinking that we had this crossover on the 1 hour chart, and when we did have the crossover here on the 1348 EMA, it did rise 6%, but then the whole market sold off. So you see, Bitcoin didn't cross over. Sometimes it's important. Ethereum didn't cross over. Sometimes it's important to see both sides of it. Oh, I forgot. I wanted to talk about this asset, Zcash, that has, I've seen a lot of comments about it. I've seen some videos. I've seen some bigger channels started talking about this, like Coin Bureau and Crypto Banter, and it's gone on a crazy run over the past few months. And if you go and you say, what is it? It's a privacy-focused cryptocurrency-enabled confidential transactions through advanced cryptography while offering optional transparency for compliance. A lot of people in the webs are saying that it's the new Bitcoin. It's the secure Bitcoin. It's like HTTPS to HTTP. And it's, gone on a bonkers run here since September, the beginning of September. It went from 57 to now 520. So it's almost a 10x run here in 2 months. And Arthur Hayes is involved. And so a lot of big dogs. If you are interested in more information, let's say if this video gets like 3,000 likes, we'll do maybe a dedicated video about Zcash, and we'll look into it a little bit more. It's already on a huge run here, but whenever you have something that is gone on a huge run, there's always the probability that it goes the other way, right? So we always have to take that into consideration and be careful with assets that have gone up so much when the crypto market is in a quote unquote bad place, that there is that probability that it goes back down. It is already pretty high in the market cap, right? Almost 9 billion, 8.5 billion. So it's not a small, it's 17 on the list. But we still have to take into consideration that there's going to be pullbacks in an asset like that if it does get more and more popular and more people start talking about it and more eyes start getting on it, then there's always that probability. Like I saw this asset XPL that a lot of influencers were talking about, right, when it was going up, right, and had this huge momentum, and now it's gone down, right, significantly. So you never know, right? And also like Aster, that remember CZ tweeted about it, right? So there's always assets that go up, and then when the momentum is bad, right, those are the first ones that people have a tendency to get out of because they have the highest risk. They moved up very, very fast and significantly. Okay, so again, we always have to take that into consideration, but this is an interesting project, and I want to talk about it a little bit more, but let's try to get the likes to 3,000, right? Okay. Don't forget to check out the links in the description down below to the email list. If you're interested, you can sign up there, get the indicator, and also we have the super thanks and the memberships if you want to support the channel that way, okay? Of course, not financial advice. Always do your own due diligence before you decide to invest. Thank you for watching. I hope to see you next time. See you later.